Torah Or Ki Tisa 170, second column. 5 lines into the second column in Ki Tisa. Okay, now the Rabbi is explaining that there's Gashmius and Ruchnius of everything, and the purpose is for the Jew to come to the realization that Ruchnius is really what matters, not the Gashmius. And that's the whole ha'inyan of Tzva Shemayim Locha Mishtachavim, that everything in the world is completely bottled, that even, like when the Medrash says, the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west, that's a constant bowing to Hashem, and therefore that's what the person should really desire, the Ruchnius, rather than the Gashmius. And he said, and that's what the pasuk says, in a way of re'iyah, that you actually see it. This should be seen to the person with a clear vision. He sees his existence. A person, you don't have to prove to him logically that we have a neshama in us. We see, we're alive. We see, we have a neshama. Somebody will prove to you 1,000,000 times that there's no neshama in you. It doesn't matter, because the bottom line is, you know you have a neshama. And we see Tzva Shemayim Locha Mishtachvim. And we see Mishtachvim is so-called Tzva Shemayim. So therefore, Vayidei Zeh Yov L'madreges V'yahavta Hashem Elokecha B'chol Levavcha B'shnei Yitzerecha, that will cause the person, with understanding and meditating on this, so come to the level of Ahava B'chol Levav, even with the Yetzer Hara. Shafilu HaYetzer Hara Nichna U'Batel, that even the Yetzer Hara is subdued and bottled neged Avas Hashem compared to Hashem. Meaning that instead of wanting Yetzer Hara things, we love Nefesh things. Like it says in the Mishnah, nullify your will for Hashem's will. Meaning, instead of doing what you want to do, you do what Hashem wants to do. Because this level of love that comes from seeing is a much deeper level of love that comes from meditation, from understanding. He's speaking about this meditation of seeing. But when you see something, it's much more one with you than when you hear it. Therefore, hearing, you can dispute that you don't understand it, you do understand it. If I saw it, it's so clear to me, you can't debate it. It's not debatable. He says, when a person sees, when a person sees that Elokus is good, not only does he understand Elokus is good, he sees it, there's no comparison to it. Why? Like we say in davening, who is compared to Hashem?
How do we see these days? How do we see? We don't see.
You see.
If seeing is so good, so effective, why doesn't God
seeing is believing. 1 minute. You're alive?
Yes.
You have a neshama in you?
I don't know. Maybe.
You have some life force in you? Are you aware,
yes.
God forbid, when a person dies,
that's right, something goes up.
We call it neshama, you can call it chocolate. It doesn't matter what you call it.
Right.
Okay. Now, are you certain that you have a life thing in you?
Yeah, otherwise I would.
Can anybody prove to you that you have it?
That I have what?
That you have this lifeline? No.
Yeah.
You don't need proof of it. I see it.
Yeah.
I see it.
I leave it.
When it's light outside, I don't need anybody to prove to me that it's day. I see that it's day. Okay. So that's what he's saying. When a person understands godliness in a way that he sees it, meaning there is absolutely no doubt about it, that is something that becomes one with you. And if it becomes one with you, it's a much greater level.
We're talking about showing, so why God doesn't show his face somehow?
You woke up this morning?
Yes.
Who woke you up? God, not the alarm clock. God. You're able to function?
Yes.
That's God. You have what to eat?
Oh, that's a proof.
Yeah. God doesn't come along and say, hi, I'm here. Hashem reveals himself to us in a tangible way. Many people wake up, God forbid, dead. Many people are paralyzed. Many people are not functioning. Okay, let's go back.
That's why if a judge sees a crime,
he cannot judge it.
But if he hears about
By the way, it's only capital punishment. Okay, but anyway, yeah.
But if he hears a crime, he could have still.
Yeah, he hears it from witnesses. And this seeing of godliness has to be eternal and constant. And a person that doesn't see this continuously, all of Nema Shlomo Melech says, a fool goes in darkness. Shlomo Melech says, a fool goes in darkness. The question is, and why is that different than an intelligent person? So he doesn't mean physically. He means that a fool who doesn't have an understanding of what's really going on is going in darkness because he doesn't see the light of godliness. He's speaking about spiritual light over here. But in other words, Shlomo Melech says a fool goes into darkness. Chacham, the eyes are in the head. So the Zohar says, and where are the eyes of a fool? Also in the head. What does it mean though? The person should be constantly aware of his existence if from the essence of Hashem, and therefore through this, he'll have the love of Hashem continuously in his heart. And his soul will be bound up with Hashem. In a permanent basis. If you constantly are aware of godliness, then you are constantly living with godliness. That's the difference between people who sin or people who don't sin. People who are tzaddikim, they have it 24/7, 120 years. We have a ruach shtus every so often comes along and blinds us, makes us foolish and stupid and all that.
We never learn.
Well,
Keeps on doing it constantly.
because the Yetzer Hara is so smart, he's so smart, he knows how to control us in a way that we think it's beneficial for us. The Tiyuf to Yaseh. This is the inyan of Chela, of fear. What the Zohar says about the Begama Bris, of wasting seed. Bris and Yinis Kashrus, Bris is a level of binding, Uvekdush and Yinis Kashrus Nafshe B'Shorshe. And what's Ruchniya's binding connection? Ruchniya's connection is a person connects his nefesh to Hashem, Ubeheipach, and the opposite side of the coin. Zelum Ezeis Kashrus B'Taiva Selim Hazard, his connection to worldly things. V'Tanugas B'nei Adam, and pleasures of people. So in other words, like this, Hashem says, and therefore, all the Mefarshim asked, the Pasuk says, what he quoted, look, I'm giving you today, I'm giving you a choice, life and death, good and bad, and pick life. So everybody, well, which fool's going to pick death? So obviously, the Pasuk is not talking physically. The Eibishter says, look, I'm giving you spirituality, which is life, clinging and connecting to Hashem is life, separating yourself from Hashem is death. So now the Torah has to tell us, choose life, because most of us don't choose always life. So the Torah is saying it has to be
Who would want to choose death? Everybody clings to life.
Yeah, but we're talking about spiritual life and death. So that's what the pasuk is. If you see the A, in other words, how can think about it? If it's talking about spiritual, okay, all of us choose death over life many times. Well, every time we do something wrong, right? In the sinning or whatever. So the Torah says, how do you get to be able to choose life is only through the level of Re'eh, seeing. Because when you see, that's what he's saying, in understanding of Hashem, that it's Aneichi, Neising. Aneichi, the essence of Hashem is what it's all about. So then the Torah says, not only Ubachar Tebachayim, you should choose life, Ubachayta b'chaim, like it says, v'yohavta. Doesn't only mean you should love, it means you will love. Ubachayta b'chaim, then you choose life. That's why, one second. That's why the whole Chabad Chassidus, the foundation of it is Chabad, the intellectual stimulation. Right. Not like the other Chassidim that were called Chagas Chassidim, Chesed word Teferes, because they were more midas, because all the other students of the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid said, how do you expect a human being to understand godliness? He can't. It's stupid. It's a finite, puny, tiny little brain. How do you expect? And the Alter Rebbe says, no, it is shaykh to understand the Lukus. And therefore, one second. And therefore, when you understand the Lukus, Re'eh, in a way of Re'iyah, so that it might be the longer way, but it's the long, short way, because eventually, when you get it, you got it. It's not easy come, easy go. If it's easy come, it's easy go. You know, a person that becomes from overnight, he's gonna lose it overnight. It's not substantial. It's not internalized. It's not,
easy come, easy go.
Yeah, it has to be in a way. So that's what Alter Rebbe wanted. Chabad, it should be a meditation of Re'eh, not only a way of Eikev Tishmu'un. Therefore, first starts the Avodah, first in the Parsha is Eikev, then Re'eh. First is the Parsha Eikev Tishmu'un. It should be the level of Shmi, understanding. But then you come to a deeper level, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Re'eh Aneichi Nesim. It should be the level of Re'eh.
Re'eh is not physical.
Correct.
So Re'eh is deeper than Nasiv and Nishma?
Re'eh is Nasiv and Ishma.
No, because you hear.
Re'eh is Nasiv and Ishma. Re'eh and Esakeilis. They saw. In other words, things that were normally heard, that's how Chassidus explains it. Things that are, the voices which are normally heard, meaning understood, by Matan Torah was Re'eh and Esakeilis. They were able to see. That means there was a much deeper level that not only was in the level of understanding, they actually felt it. One internalizes it.
By the way, in Farsi, you can say Re'eh. It just depends on the Torah of your words. You can say 10 different meanings.
Good.
Good, thank you.
Maybe?
What do you mean?
Okay. L'chein, so, what's the eitzah when a person wants... Thanks for the language class. Okay, one second. Therefore, what happens when a person desires other things? Therefore, the ultimate purpose is to transform your heart. To clean the nafsh, meaning like this. By nature, a person is drawn after what they want. By nature. Not what Hashem wants. Because a person wants to do what they want to do, not what Hashem wants them to do. So Hashem sends down the neshama in a way of you have Chaim Maves Tevin Ra. Yeah, you have life that's good and bad. But then Hashem says, what is the purpose of your existence? To transform the Maves to Chaim and the bad to good. Yizbar Kel Chai V'Kayim. Brisa Mekasha, the covenant that binds and connects. That's why Chassidus explains, why is a bris 8 days old? Not like Yishmael that had a bris at 13, because 13 is the level of Seichel. Yishmael's covenant and bond with Hashem was an intellectual one. Yitzchak, Yidden, Hashem says, no, 8 days old. The kid doesn't understand anything, doesn't know anything, feels he does. But he doesn't understand what is going on. Why 8? Because it's a level of supernatural. And because it's supernatural, you have to wait 8 days.
So which is deeper? Intellectual?
No, above intellect. That they bring down the chayes of Sefer Kolam. Lias Memal Kolam Lahachis Nefesh Kochai, which gives life and existence to everything. V'ro kol basar ish, she'etvei kasamiti, v'tmidi, it should be a continuous connection. It's not enough to only wake the Ava. Like the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya. Why is the Avodah V'Beini not really emes? By a tzaddik, the avos Hashem is continuous. By a beni, it's only during tefillah. So because it leaves after davening, because you're not meditating anymore, so therefore the Alter Rebbe says it's not real emes. But the Alter Rebbe says it's still emes because you could awaken it. Like it says in Tanya. And then it passes through. It's like it says, it has to be the level of emes. A temporary forever is false. That's how the abuse is in Tanya. Vada Regia, Lashon Sheker.
Told us yesterday about the river, whatever.
Yeah, it has to be real. Okay.
7 years.
Now, where does a Jew get this level of Re'iyah? Okay, saying you need to see Hashem in such a way you become one with Hashem. That you transform, instead of wanting Nefesh Bamis, you want Bato L'Tzeincha. He says, this is a gift from above.
This is what?
A gift from above. Like it says, Hashem aleim yirah. Hashem will appear to him. V'yotze kabar echitze, and his literally means his arrow will shoot out like lightning. Za'amshach ba'ar shemer bali Yisrael. This is a revelation, or like we learned in the other Maimonim. Vayikral Moshe. First there has to be the Gili Momaila, and then you have Adam Kiyak, then the person could become closer to Hashem. Because otherwise, where does a person get this level of seeing Elokus? I mean, it's very hard. She said, this mama should give from above. All the dafka is to cling to Hashem, and that's why the Chachamim instituted before Krishma. All the morning brachas, like we learned many times, everything from the beginning of creation until Mashiach is systematic. It starts from the beginning of creation, Eitz Hadas, this, the flood, Avram Avinu, Matan Torah, Egel first, back in the... it's all a system. Right? Yeah? It's all a system. And that now the human day is also systematic. The life of a Jew, even a person in business, yeah? You get up in the morning, there's Berchas HaShachar. Then you go daven. So you have Pesukah de Zimra, Berchas Krishma, Shemona Esrei, whatever. And then you learn a little bit. Then you go into business. That's the system. And then after business, you come home and you daven mincha mai with a minyan. And then you go learn a little bit. That's all the system of the day to come to the ultimate goal of, like we say, Kriya Shema Lamita, the Shema before bed, which is the reckoning of what the day is all about. And that tomorrow will be better than today. That's the system of the Jew. So he says, one second, you say Birchas HaShachar Baruch Atah Shana Mavakshim, what are we asking? Sheyar Lanu Eravaya Bizgalus. What do we do? Baruch Atah Hashem. We say, please God, come down and awaken us. That we should come to the ultimate level of Krishma Mitzvah V'Ahavta B'Emes, and that's Havaya Lokeinu. Okay, and then he says, Hine Amar Azal, he says like this, the Medrash says, the Gemara brings it down, that Gedolim Yisrael Yosim Malachim. The Jews, the Neshamas, are greater than the angels. The angels don't say Kodesh, Ach Yisrael Eimrim Lamata. It says in the Gemara that the Malachim have to wait. Not only that, Malachim say, they say Kodesh, 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 Hashem Tzvakish. Meaning, when do they come? When do they come to the level of Hashem? After 3 Kedushas. But it says, move on, he says, what? It's not understood. Why are the Malachim connected to our Kodesh? The Malachim can't say Kodesh until we say. Why? He says, you're not talking about a Neshama L'mayla. You're talking about a Neshama in the body, and the Malachim can't say Kodesh until the Neshama says He says, you don't find, it's very interesting what Dr. Rebbe says. Dr. Rebbe says, you don't find a person that doesn't have foreign thoughts. At least machshava shizara etzli. Because tzaddikim don't have evil thoughts. But sometimes you can have a foreign thought, we mentioned last night. If somebody is supposed to daven, and they learn, that's machshava zara. Because it's foreign. Right now, the avodah is to daven. Or like it says in a Yom Yom, you can have a case, like he said, achsidish yetzahara. Right in a Yom Yom, the mitzvah said, nah, I never knew there could be a chsidish yetzahara. A guy wakes up late, to give you a typical scenario. A guy wakes up late Shabbos morning, he rolls into shul late, of course, and then he says, I got to learn a minor. So instead of davening with the minyan, what he's supposed to do, he decides to learn a minor. That learning a minor, it says in a Yom Yom, is from Nefesh Habamis. That's what it says in a Yom Yom, it's from Nefesh Habamis. Now you're supposed to be davening. Why are you learning the minor now? You want to learn a minor, get up early and learn a minor. You can wake up, roll into half asleep. It's Avodah Zarah because it's foreign. Right now you're supposed to be davening. If you learn, it's foreign. It's Avodah Zarah.
You said earlier that the key is to see God.
I told you. Did you wake up this morning?
No, but now you said the key is
No. Seeing God in a way that it affects, that we realize what's primary and what's secondary.
right.
He said, "V'yachagadol if he godly, the great person based on his level. V'akotan if he kotnei. V'amalachim kulam ein demrum." But he says like this: L'chayda, a person in a body inevitably has foreign thoughts, whatever it is. He said, the malachim stand berum elam in the ultimate highest levels of the world. Muvshat michayim guf gashmi, completely removed from a physical coarse body. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that malachim have a goof. They have a body. Malachim have a body, but not with wings and all that stupidity. I mean, it says in the pasuk, yeah, but that's not what it means. What it means, but he says, but the difference is, malachim, our body is composed of all four elements: fire, air, earth, and water. Malachim's bodies are from fire and air. So it doesn't have earth and water, which are the coarseness, the physical. They have a body, but it's a spiritual body. Right? You made breishis from the 6 days of creation without any break. That means from the beginning of creation, when malachim were created, depends when, there are different opinions. But when since the time malachim were created, they're standing with the complete bittul to Hashem. So how can you say that the malachim are waiting for us to say kedusha? So he says, "Ach inei malachim einei im kaddish mitzad atzmam." The malachim are not saying kaddish because that's the level they reach. Rak mitzad achayis hamispashit nimshach bahem. Okay, it's only because of what God gave them. The malachim are programmed to do what they do. So therefore, the malachim are programmed to say Kaddish. But that level of chayis they have is nothing compared to the chayis Hashem gives them. In other words, like this. Malachim don't have free will. Malachim don't have free will. So therefore, when they say Kaddish, it's not that they chose to say Kaddish. They're programmed to say Kaddish. In fact, there's a whole interesting shaila Maimorim. A few Maimorim bring down. The famous question, the Zohar says, Matat, the Malach Matat, once did something wrong. Afkula Matat, they took out Matat, and they whipped him. Obviously, it's all spiritual, but so the Chassidus, that's the question for Malach. How can he sin? He's a Malach. The answer is because he was once a person, Chanoichev, something like that. He was once a person, and then he became a Malach. And because he became, but because he once was a human, it's shaykh that he should still do something wrong because of the human aspect that still existed within him. But like this, a malach can't do anything wrong. So he says, of course the malachim need to wait for us to do it. We have the free choice to do it and not to do it, and therefore when we do it, it's valuable. We're choosing it on our own. Malachim are not doing it on their own, it says. They're giving it. Whatever they do, they do.
Why 3 times?
Huh?
Why 3 times?
Well, I don't know if it says the Jews they say Kaddish, the Hashem's name after twice, and the Malachim say 3 times. Okay, therefore by Hagar it says, when the Avram threw him out and Shmuel got sick and the Malach came and said, so it says over there, meaning that's the Malach that spoke to her. I'm going to come back to you next year and you're going to have a baby, a child. The Malachim said, I'm going to come back. He says, when the Malach said, I will come back, or like it says, by Moshe Rabbeinu, yeah, I will give grass in your field. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't give grass. So what's the answer? Moshe Rabbeinu, Shechina speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu. A Malach is the Shliach of Hashem. Therefore, Malachim, Yaakov Avinu said Malachim, Moshe Rabbeinu said Malachim. Malachim means messengers. It could be human messengers. It could be Malachim. It could be angels. So a Malach is just an extension of Hashem. When a Malach says, I'm going to return next year and you're going to have a child, like he said, it doesn't mean him. Why? If he shein teitsim mokim neged chayis alakusa meduba behem, there's nothing compared to Hashem. Rak ma'aver al yadeim, it's like a microphone. Right? When you speak through a microphone, the microphone is giving over your speech, but it's not, it's you.
Who Yaakov had the rest of it?
Huh? The Malach of Yosef. No. The Malach of Yosef is also great. It's a Malach. And therefore, the Malach said, let me go because I have to go sing praise to Hashem. And Yaakov said, I'm not letting you go until you give me a bracha. But again, it's the Malach of Yosef. When it says in the Medrash that they said, it means the Malachim are saying, the Sar of Mitzrayim, the Sar of Edom, the Sar of, they're the ones talking. It's not the Malachim are communicating with Hashem.
The power came from Hashem.
That is a gift from above that they have no free will for. And therefore, when they do it, they do it. It's nothing.
So why would they wrestle? Wrestle means fight.
That symbolizes the eternal fight between Yaakov and Esav, represents, besides Goyim and Yidden, Yetzer Tov, Yetzer Hara, and Shalikim and Shabamis. The Pasuk is teaching us there is an eternal struggle between Yaakov and Esav. And Esav is very powerful, to the extent it can even hit your thigh and you can limp, meaning spiritually. But the bottom line is, Yaakov eventually wins because he fought and he did what he had to do. Which means that fight between Yaakov and Esav is the power that Hashem gives to every Yaakov, meaning every Yid, to overcome the Malach of Esav, the Yetzer Hara.
Until we don't do that, we don't become Israel.
Correct.
So
The struggle of the Jew is what makes us who we are. And therefore, when people ask why, like I told you, there's a guy who always tells me, yeah, we're the chosen nation to be tortured, ghetto, make fun of, and that's what we're chosen for. But the truth is, the nation, what they needed Mitzrayim to become Matan Torah. They need Golus now to get Mashiach. The struggle is what makes us. But in life, generally speaking, the struggles that a person goes through in life is what makes them who they are. A person that has no struggles, it doesn't exist, but let's see, generally speaking. A person with no struggles, they're not a made person. When you say a person, a self-made person. What do you mean self-made person? They weren't given everything, the money from above and the intellect from above and this and then all the, abilities to do, all the abilities and chances to do things. They're not a self-made man. That's like angels. Our greatness is that we struggle. That's what makes us great.
We get punished.